All right, just 1 week after the letdown up in East Lansing, Sam, Michigan comes out here, gets the win 29-7 against Indiana. It wasn't pretty, like I said, but a win's a win. And let's start with the offense. You got the run game was going today with Assad Haskins. Blake Corum gets hurt. Harbaugh says he will likely be back. But you got to talk about Haskins and what he was able to do today with the run game and just get Michigan going throughout this whole game.
Yeah, so first thing is you look back to last week, the loss to Michigan State. I think the story that isn't talked about enough is, up front, the battle up front. I think a lot of people think they lost that game, or they were kind of limited in the run game in ways that we haven't seen in most games because they were dedicating more defenders to it.
Right.
That wasn't necessarily the case. It was just getting beat up front. I mean, you call it for what it is. They got beat up front. So I thought that it was important for them to come out and reestablish the physicality that we'd known this offensive line to have all year, and the precision. So there were times where maybe they got beat physically. There were other times where they mistargeted a play and they were blocking the wrong guy, or then they just whiff on a block. That's not what we've seen from this offensive line all season. They've been physically dominant for the majority of the season, and they have been precise. I mean, they have executed blocks, whether it's guys in front of them or on the move, and that wasn't the case last week. Today it was. And ride Hassan Haskins. Going back to Ohio State game a couple of years ago where he was the only guy on the field, on the offense, still playing. That guy just has something else. He has something in him where he said, give me the ball. Feed me. Get on my back. I think he said get on my back about 30 times. He didn't have to say it. It was just, it oozes from him. And he was carrying the team tonight, and that was important, especially in light of Blake Corum being injured in tonight's game.
Well, Haskins was definitely the workhorse. He got a couple big plays. He had the big run. You got the big play out Cornelius Johnson. McNamara hit him there. So you got some big plays today. Let's switch it over to the defense. I think Indiana was held just to the one touchdown. You got to like what you're seeing again from this defensive front. You got the two bookend ends with Ojabo and Hutchinson. I mean, they just are man amongst boys out there. Teams just cannot stop these guys.
Yeah, man. So it was for them on that side of the ball. It was important to not let an overmatched team get any confidence. I mean, that's Indiana struggling offensively, struggling as a team this year. So you don't want to give them any life. And this is one of the best defensive end tandems we've seen here. I mean, both coming into the game with 7 sacks, right? You're asking, hey, can both of these guys get double-digit sacks this year? I think they will. And Aiden is he is just a special dude. The sequence he had where he recognizes the throwback pass, defends the pass, and then gets the near strip sack.
Well, you've seen that on draft
day.
Yeah,
and then gets the near strip. I mean, he's showing he can play in a 3-4 defense. I mean, that's why they're talking about him being the number 2 pick in the draft. You want his hand in the dirt, he can do that. You want him playing stand up in a 3-4, he can do that too. Dave Ojabo, though, I think they better be at least preparing for the possibility that the NFL comes knocking at the door.
I think it's a strong possibility.
Yeah, because the dude, he was a sub 1,100 meter guy in high school. So how can you turn that into production on the field? I mean, you aren't running track meets, at defensive end. Can you transition into being a pass rusher? And we're seeing that before our eyes. I mean, so just a special talent, and they didn't allow them to get any confidence. So that was important for them to get their bearings back. But as a team, if you want to look at the things that they have to get better at, a little too much early in the game, a little too much running the football, extending drives. They clamped down on that 4 straight 3-and-outs to start the second half was really encouraging. And offensively, while you saw them start to run the ball like we were accustomed to seeing them run it, early in the game they get in the red zone again and get bogged down. So it was good to see them get clicking a little bit better later. I think maybe getting Cade McNamara on the move a little bit outside where he can see a little bit better, I think is an important thing. And then I'll keep coming back to it. Every snap JJ gets, even the snaps that he gets where he looks, he's like, oh, no, don't throw it back across your body, right? Even those snaps are important. You're building those up because I think that he is part of the solution in the red zone especially. This is not, you don't hear me being one of those people saying he should be the starter because that's not where they are. You got a starter. You got a team leader. You got a guy that can command the offense. But when they get in the red zone and the field is compressed, having a guy that can not only make plays with his legs, a guy who they have to respect on the zone read, because they call the zone read down there, they didn't even look at K. So having that, I think, is important. And then a guy that has that touch, that jump ball ability, that fade ball ability, where a time or two you can get him in the red zone a little bit. And they did. They put him in the red zone a time or two down here. Build that up, because this will beat Indiana. It'll beat Maryland. Maybe it'll beat Penn State. You got to light up the freaking scoreboard if you're going to beat Ohio State. They gotta score more points.
Well, Michigan certainly got a gift today from Purdue. Michigan owes Purdue a steak dinner, as I tweeted out. A lot's on the table. You got a 3-game slate. It's control your own destiny, but it all starts with Penn State next week. So stay tuned for all our coverage and more on the MichiganInsider.com.